Hey guys, what's going on? This is John, Games81. Welcome to my 3D channel. I'm visiting Pinball Hall of Fame again. This is one of my favorite places in Vegas I like to hit up. And this is a phenomenal place. It's just east of the main Las Vegas Boulevard. It's on off Tropicana. There is Transformers, one of the newest pinball tables. This is one of the largest collections of pinball machines in one location, if not the largest. So over 150 pinball machines dating from the 60s to currently now with Transformers, newest one. But it's a really cool, and the kind of story behind this place, the owner basically came from Midwest, I believe, like Michigan area, Great Lakes states, and he owned a pinball machine, a pinball arcade back in the 80s, 90s when they were very popular. He came into a lot of money, I'm not sure how, but he moved to Vegas, decided to open this up. This is a non-profit, so all profits that are made here go to local charities like the Salvation Army. There's Joust, Donkey Kong, of course, Pac-Man. So they do have some great classic arcade machines here, including pinball machines. Look at that Super System. That's a Super Nintendo stand-up. Pretty rare. So between the arcades and pinball machines, they have over 200 different machines. And this place moved, I believe, several years back. It used to be in another location. There's always a fair share of people here. It's open pretty late, till about 11 o'clock or so, or even maybe later. That's how Vegas is. Everything's open up late. But it's really cool. There's a Tempest, wasn't working. So not every machine was working, unfortunately. But with all these things, working parts, it's a full-time job trying to get them to work. Attack from Mars, a really fun game. There's Junkyard and a whole bunch of Zion. And this is a bowling one, which is really very unique gameplay. It's actually you have to hit pins. Paperboy, kind of randomly there. Twilight Zone, it's a really wide cap Twilight. That's how it was, and really some of the unique things. They have a lot of cool little tricks in there. There's about air or hockey. I always loved to own one of those. This place is kind of dark, so I apologize for the lighting. There's Super Mario Brothers. That's Gottlieb. It's a short version. Revenge from Mars, right there. We just passed. That is actually one of the last pinball machines by Midway. It came out in 1999, late 90s, called Pinball 2000. It has a monitor, reflection, all that really cool stuff. They donated the Salvation Army, all the profits they made last year, $400,000. They donated to Salvation Army. That's amazing. That is a lot of quarters. So as you can see, this place does very, very well. I don't blame it. They got some really cool stuff. Old Baseball, which is really fun. Jurassic Park by Data East or Data East. I like to say Data. You say Data. Tomato or Tomato. Here is Golden Eye. They're all categorized, like a lot of Data East games are together. There's Star Wars. These are all the Data East games. That's by Star Wars. This classic, the sound effects. I got Flintstones based on the movie. I didn't really care for the Flintstones movie necessarily. These are some older games from the 60s and 70s. But there's still a lot of fun. You know, pinball was actually banned for a number of years in the States, and they did really well in Europe and overseas, but for a while, pinball was considered a gambling machine, and the states were scared for it, and they actually banned them, which is really, really fascinating. And Chicago is kind of the hub for a lot of the pinball manufacturers. Midway, Gottlieb, all of them were based in Chicago. Street Fighter II pinball, yeah, there was a Street Fighter II pinball. Popeye had a certain level there. It makes it. There's Adams Family. Adams Family is the #1 selling pinball machine of all time. I'm not quite sure exact number how many they sold, but I do know that they sold a significant number of Adams Family. There's some prize games. Waterworld. What a terrible movie that was by Kevin Costner. Black Knight. Harley Davidson. They've made a number of Harley Davidson ones. Whodunit, Jurassic Park, Lost World. That's by Sega. These are a lot of Sega ones right here. More old school ones. Most of these, a lot of them have a scanner too for your smartphone, so you can scan it, information, and it gives you more information. This is the front. When you walk into the left, this is against the wall. You get Addams Family, or Family Guy, rather. Indiana Jones. Austin Powers. Medieval Madness. That's a really expensive cabinet or pinball, and it's really one of my favorites. Monster Bash. The Simpsons, Monopoly, Roller Coaster, Big Buck Hunter. That's actually signed by Stern right there. I don't know if you noticed that. Turn the corner, you got some vending machines, and here's some Batman. I love the first Batman movie. There's Batman Returns, or that's the newer Batman movie actually. But this is Safe, kind of an interesting, really fascinating game. There's Safe, Iron Man, and the Rolling Stones, Avatar. That's actually really cool because it's hard to see, but it's actually the marquee on that is 3D as well. Tron, this is a limited edition Tron. It's got the neon lights that light up. That is really cool. Some more old school 70 games. Wipeout. This is all magnetic. That's a really weird game right there. This is the Circus one. This is a prototype, only 2 ever made. It's got different layers. There's 3 different layers to it, and it's by Midway. And that's the one of only 2 ever made. So it's $1 to play it, but it's a really fun game. Cubert Quest, Superman by Atari. It's a wide cab, one of the few pinball machines that Atari made. Atari wasn't in the pinball business for very long. They had their feet wet, and they decided to focus on their computers and their home market. Pinbot, Space Shuttle, and Funhouse. These are just some classic Comet. This is Indiana Jones by Midway. The other one was by Stern. And these are some more classic ones. They had some really antique arcades too, some really old ones, some early editions. There's a Speedwin racing one, which doesn't even use graphics. They use it's really hard to explain. There's South Park by Stern, kind of randomly placed there. South Park's been around for a long time. It's hard to believe. Terminator 2, Star Trek. We're coming across Star Trek. That's basically the movie Star Trek, and you get the one on the series, and you have one on Next Generation. This is one of my favorite pinball machines. I love the sound of that. It's really sharp. You got a whole row of just like pinballs from the 60s and 70s. A lot of these are similar in size, but they all got great shape. They work great, and some of these classic ones are really a lot of fun. These are only $1 each to play. And also in the back far left corner of the area, they have more arcade machines. There's like a beat 'em gator one I remember playing where you have to bop them in the head. It's almost like a whack-a-mole style game. Bowling, Simpsons Bowling. This is Crossbow. Wasn't working, unfortunately. Some of these in the back weren't necessarily functioning. Here's a sit-down Star Trek with a vector style by Sega. I love this game. Wasn't working. Pretty rare cabinet. Sit-down version anyway. Dragon's Lair, Gotten the Legends. Just some Zaxxon's Venture. I mean, the classes just keep on coming. Some pinballs mixed in between there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Great Konami beat 'em up. You got Road Blasters. And there is Frontline, or there's other ones back there too. Here is Missile Command by Sega. If you notice there, top left corner. That's a Japanese import. Usually Atari would actually publish it in the States. Miss Pac-Man, Frontline. There's Frontline. Junior Pac-Man, Dr. Mario, Wacko, kind of interested, whack, crazy. So if you're ever in Vegas, definitely do yourself a favor and check out the Pinball Hall of Fame. It is definitely worth the trip. It's free entry. Games are very cheap, quarter, most of them to 50 cents, and definitely a blast. And $10 will last you a long time here. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much for subscribing, and I will see you guys soon. Take care.